Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Bree Sedano here, coming to you live, and today we're going to be talking about desires, income, and I guess that's really it. Desires, how desires play into your ability, your earning capacity. All right. So if this is your first time ever catching me live, please go ahead and say hello, so that way I know that you're here. If you are somebody who watches all the time, please say hello. And if you take something from this, if you learn something new or something cool or something you think is exciting, please feel free to share my video. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I actually, my bumble. All right. So I've been working with clients in the financial, like in the money realm, right, since 2013. And many of my clients, income is actually one of the issues that is is one of the things that we have to work on, right? So I'm going to explain real quick the difference between like under earning and when you have a money management problem, right? So sometimes sometimes people make plenty of money and they actually don't manage it intentionally, right? And so that will cause, sometimes it'll cause credit card debt, sometimes it'll cause like being, paycheck to paycheck and whatever else. Other times, people actually have an earnings issue. And the thing about it is the symptoms look basically the same. It'll look like credit card debt, not having enough money. And so the way that you would tell if you have an earnings issue or a spending issue is if you do the math on paper, if your cash flow is super, super tight, chances are you may have an earnings issue. And if there's plenty of money on paper, but you can't really seem to like find the money, or then it's probably a management issue. And so the ways that I know somebody's under earning when I'm talking with somebody is that one, that their cash flow is tight, or that they're like running paycheck to paycheck, or they have credit card debt on the practical level. The second thing is that they feel like they're earning beneath their fullest capacity. So that could be like they're in a job that's beneath what they're capable of. So like let's just say, for example, you're using 40% of your skills and talents at your current job, not all of your skills and talents, then that's a pretty good indication. If they've been in the same job, the same position for a long time, generally there will be an earnings issue there. Um, and and like if you have desires that are way bigger than your income, those are all things that I look at, when somebody is coming to see me to talk about making more money, right? And so I know that if there's those things happening, so if somebody wants to make more money than they are, if if the cash management isn't actually the problem, um, and if they have like bigger desires, then that's generally an indication that what we're going to be working on is on the earnings capacity. So what I want to say is one of the first things that you need to understand what drives earning, what drives your income, is desire, right? And so for many of us, our desires kind of got like, not like literally, but they kind of got beat out of us when we were a kid. Because when you're a kid and you're looking for the things that you want, you're expecting your parents to meet your desires. Well, when you're a grown up, that isn't exactly the case anymore. You can make your own desires. But a lot of times, like imagine this, as you're 5 years old, you're at the grocery store, you want gummy bears. And you ask your mom or your dad, 500 times since the time you leave the house. And then at one point you end up getting reprimanded. Like, no, I'm not buying you gummy bears, and stop asking. For many of us, our desires were not like met with like, ooh, you have a desire, my child? Let me help you figure out a way to get that desire met. It's more like, so, sometimes our desires are even met like with like if there wasn't really enough, like, so if you needed even if you needed something, that wasn't always met with like great feelings. Like sometimes I've had clients who needed something growing up and it was more like a burden. So a lot of times we can have these feelings of desire that actually feel like either a burden, like we're imposing on somebody. Sometimes our desires can feel like it doesn't even matter. I never get what I want. Anyways, sometimes we can have desires Um, like if we've been really disappointed by something, sometimes those like scars of disappointment or discouragement or being really let down can kind of come through. And so, for many of the women that I've worked with, one of the first things that we've really had to pay attention to is finding those desires, because desires have a lot of life force, right? I'm going to tell you a quick story to demonstrate this. So I had a client who I'm talking to, and she has on like her budget, her list of things that she wants to do. She's like, I have a lake house vacation. But when I'm talking to her, I'm like, you don't sound like you want to do that. Like she's like we go to the lake house. Mer, mer, mer. And I was like, that's what are you doing? Like what's going on there? And she's like, yeah, I really like want to go to Napa Valley and I want to go drink wine and I want to do this. And I watch her light up. And I was like, well, then why are you saving money to go to the lake? That's like one town over to a cabin you've been to a zillion times. And she was like, well, it's just so unrealistic to want to go to Napa and like the lake vacation costs this and this, and Napa Valley would cost this and this. And I was like, all right. And so this particular client had like decent enough cash flow where I was like, this is fascinating. And so the thing is that when she set the goal, that wasn't really the truth. When she set the realistic vacation goal, the thing that she didn't have to stretch, she didn't have to grow into, it was just like she was going to drive over a town and go to the lake. She had a lot of actual trouble getting that goal met because she didn't actually really care. She didn't actually really want to do it. There wasn't, if there was like the opportunity to go out for a drink with her girlfriends or go do something else, she would do that because the truth is she really didn't care much about the lake house. She really didn't care. She didn't really want to go. The truth is that she wanted to go to Napa. And I was like, all right, well, let's just adjust your goals. Like, let's just look at this. And the reason why this is so important is because when we set a goal that's got a lot of desire in it, there's a lot of life force energy to get that goal, that desire met, right? Like there's such a big difference when you really want something, like when you really are like, yes, I want to taste, smell, experience, possess that thing. I want that. Your motivation to go do it, your in like your internal like direction is so much more potent and clear and on point than when you're like, oh, I mean, I have the week off, and I guess I will just go to the lake house that I don't actually care that much about. Like when your financial goals feel like meh, like you have a really tough time with them. Where this plays into your ability and your income, like your earning capacity, is that when all of our desires are tamped down, when they're all realistic, when they're all like whatever, it doesn't we have no oomph to grow. Like when we don't let our desires like kind of burn. Like if you have ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is like I think it might be like the original personal development book or whatever. He talks about a burning desire and having a desire that burns, like that you really want, that really like lights you up. It what you are willing to do for that desire changes, and what you're willing to like give changes, and how big you're willing to play changes. So one of the ways that women are like socially conditioned to really make less money than men, or what the I guess it's not even about making more money than making the same amount of money as men. It's like making less money than what they're capable of is really what it comes down to, is that when your desires are perpetually tamped down, the reason to go ahead and show up bigger or ask for the raise or do the thing isn't really there, right? So like desires drive growth. So if you have big desires, you have to be big to meet those desires. So these are some of the things that you want to be thinking about. So really looking at your desires, kind of really like playing with them and starting to understand what it is that you want or don't want. And it takes a little bit of practice, to be honest. Like for a lot of my clients, I'll ask, like, if I had a magic wand and I give you anything you wanted, what do you want? And they're like, to pay my bills on time. And it's not that that's not true. It's just, it's, that's not like a true desire. It's like that's like a basic need, right? So you want to start to practice really feeling into your desires and really understanding what those desires are, and really kind of asking yourself, well, if I was to really meet this desire for myself, who would I have to be? Who would I have to be to meet this desire? Because desires drive growth. And is this desire something I would be willing to grow for? Like, would I be willing to do, or have or get or whatever these things to meet this desire, right? So I want everybody to understand that when you want to make more money, when making next level money, when increasing your income is something that's important to you, you really want to tie that income to like the lifestyle that you want, and really let yourself feel into those desires and really grow into like what you want to be capable of, even if it's something like you're not currently like there yet for. But desires, there's so much life force in there that it drives the growth. And when we don't let ourselves have our desires, when our desires are tamped down, there's a lot of financial stagnation that comes with that. So that is my TED talk for today. So if you have something that you desire, something that you're working on, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I think that's really good. Like, saying your desires out loud gives them like, once you say it things start to change. It's a really amazing thing that happens. So that's it. All right. So let me tell you some ways that we could work together. So if you are new to my world, if you're new to Sheep to Shark, and you just kind of want to find out a little bit more about us, what we do, who we serve, things like that, you can go ahead in the description. There's a free quiz, and that free quiz will put you on my email list, where you'll get a lot of the content that we have for free. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where there is a ton of videos. If you are on like a DIY journey and you want some courses, you want some instruction, we have a full suite of courses. You can go to sharkschool.online. Cash Confident is a program that includes like course content and coaching. So that is really for the woman who wants to go from like survival mode to learning how to thrive. And Cash Confident, we're learning to spend our money intentionally. We're learning to pay off debt. We're learning to save. We're learning to systemize our money. We're understanding our money mindset. We're understanding our emotional intelligence when it comes to our relationship with money. And then there's a community. And so Cash Confident is for the lady who's like, I'm on a journey. Like, I wanna do this. And so it's a program that's like for ladies starting at the beginning. Limitless Wealth is my mastermind. It is for business owners and for corporate climbers already making six figures who want to go to multiple six figures. And they're kind of at the place where they're like, what got me here won't get me there. And so we do a lot of energy management there. We do a lot of diversification around like our efforts and our income and things like that. And so it's a high level program for somebody who's really looking to like manifest cleanly, and really go to that next level, leveraging time, energy, effort, all of it. Paradigm Shift is one-on-one coaching. That is my highest level of service, and is basically for anybody who's looking for a big change fast in their money. And we have a new offer coming out next week called 30 Days to Get a Raise. And that is going to be for any woman who wants to make more money, business owner, employee, it doesn't matter. What we're going to be looking at there is so much good stuff that kind of clears the way for more earnings, more income to come into your life. So that's what we will be doing there. And so the links and the information will be coming out in the next week or so. You will see it. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. Bye.